This episode is brought to you by Google Chrome. You think you know a browser, but Gemini and Chrome? That's new. It can help you with practically anything on the web, like restoring a vintage motorcycle from a 50-page restoration blog, or finally break down that long article you've had open for weeks. Gemini and Chrome is here for it. Ready to make anything online make sense? There's no place like Chrome. Check responses, setup required, compatibility and availability varies, 18+.
Late night bites with friends? Already hard to beat. That first too hot bite of fries you couldn't wait for, followed by ice cold Pepsi. Now that hits different. Suddenly, the energy kicks back in, the night goes longer, and the laughs don't stop. Because Pepsi brings out more flavor, more fun, and more of the moment. Food deserves Pepsi. Grab a Pepsi Zero Sugar today.
Hello?
Look what TJ Maxx dragged in.
The Devil Wears Prada 2 is now streaming on Disney Plus and Hulu.
We are digital, we are downloadable, we are streamable.
The fashion event of the year is certified fresh.
Pull yourself together, we have work to do.
Critics say it's smart and witty and the perfect sequel.
That's all.
Get runway ready for The Devil Wears Prada 2 on Disney Plus and Hulu. Rated PG-13.
The biggest moments in sports are streaming live on Fox One. From MLB to NFL, Big Noon Saturdays, and so much more. Fox One brings you the games, rivalries, and can't-miss moments all season long. And it doesn't stop at the final whistle. Catch highlights, expert analysis, interviews, and the stories behind the biggest moments in sports. Watch live or on demand, at home or on the go. Stream Fox Sports on Fox One. Download the app today.
This episode is brought to you by ChatGPT. Hey, it's Bill Simmons from the Bill Simmons Podcast. Have you guys heard about ChatGPT work? It's the new way to use ChatGPT for bigger multi-step projects. And when you need more than just answers, give ChatGPT work access to your apps and files, and it can create real work documents like spreadsheets, slides, and structured reports. Get started at chatgpt.com by selecting work mode, available on Plus and Pro plans.
Oh, hi. I didn't see you there. It's the Country Club Atmosphere, exclusively for Country Club tier subscribers at the Islanders Anxiety Patreon page. Thank you so much for your support and for your dough. And today, we're going to get to something that we've been dancing around for a while. In fact, you've been dancing around this because it involves a sport that is near and dear to your heart. And it involves the retirement of a big name in that sport and some wild off the pitch field, what do we call it in cricket, when they do stuff not within the game? That's wild, but it's got all the cool stuff that we like to see in a sports scandal, except this sport isn't one of the ones that we're used to on the North American content, so it's got a lot of fun times here ahead of us.
Yeah. Outside the oval, I guess you could say. Yeah, this is we've done scandals before on Country Club Atmosphere. We did the Scandival autopsy. You explained Scandival to me. There's another one. There's another big Bravo scandal that Emily was explaining to me that we'll have to do.
The Summer House one?
Yeah.
See, I don't watch Summer House, so this is all kind of new to me.
It sounds awful.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll just have maybe Emily can just explain it.
That might be a good one.
Yeah. But and then I make fun of you guys for your love of Bravo and the Real Housewives, but there are a lot of elements to of that kind of stuff in cricket at large, and especially in this scandal, which is, I mean, you can't make it up. It's so cricket and in a million different ways, and it's very English cricket to be even more specific. And we've talked about it a little bit with Josh Hosang of all people. You and I have talked about it. Our mate Gavin, who had his heart broken by Argentina in the semifinals of the World Cup, also had to deal with this as the World Cup was going on too, which adds like a funny, complex kind of side subplot to this was that like the World Cup was going on, so most of England was just paying attention to that, and this is all going on in the background. So yeah, it's quite a scandal. It's got a lot of great layers to it, and I'm excited to get into it. And this is one of those episodes where even if nobody listened to our podcast, there's nothing I'd rather be doing than talking about this scandal, and like just picking through the bones of it anyway. So
Yeah.
I'm really excited.
Yeah, me too. And it's funny now because, as you mentioned, the World Cup was over and is over now. And, obviously we did an episode last month with my friend Sam Fells. It was great. And I went back and looked, and, he was all about thinking that England was going to win. And he was like, but, that probably just means that Spain is going to win. So he was kind of right a little bit. And you predicted Argentina, and you were so close.
Right.
But, they couldn't bring it home. And that game might have been not the greatest way to end what was by all means a fantastic tournament. But it was a fun couple of months there to have some games on during the day, and it was really cool to have everybody kind of talking about this cool event. And I don't know what everybody's complaining about. I thought that halftime show was fun. I don't know. Listen, you put Madonna and the Muppets and Shakira in the same venue performing songs, I'm happy. Like, I don't understand what the problem was. Like, give the Muppets a Super Bowl halftime show. Like, I don't care. They're the Muppets. Who doesn't love the Muppets? Anyway.
Yeah, it was more that there was a halftime show that I think that people got all crotchety about because there's never been one before.
Gotcha.
And the last thing that most of the people, and I don't blame them, the international, the people coming from soccer dominant countries,
right?
Like they were upset about the hydration breaks that we like broke it up into quarters basically, and then the turning the World Cup final into like the Super Bowl.
Right. Wow. Okay. I didn't realize.
Yeah. So it's more about the
it.
Americanization of it all.
Right.
But I didn't. I saw the Muppets part. I was like, this is it. I'll tell you what. I thought it was gonna be a lot worse than it actually was too. Yeah. I thought it was fine. But I knew that it was gonna be no matter what. They could have risen all four Beatles back, and reunited them, and it still would have.
Yeah.
It still would have got people pissed because there was one. That's all that's all they were mad about.
You see everybody like, what's Madonna doing now? She's 70 years old. Yeah, okay. She's still Madonna. Last time I checked, like the music is still good. Just because she's old doesn't mean the music is bad. But anyway, okay. Thank you for explaining that. That actually is a fun little mini explainer to get to the main explainer, which is what we're talking about today. So before we get into the scandal and all the fallout and all this stuff, we're going to be focusing our talk on a guy named Ben Stokes. So he's an English cricketer, and that's all I know. So if you will, please explain to the audience and me who Ben Stokes is, and see if there's some kind of like, I don't know, analog that maybe we might know that we can compare.
Definitely. So Ben Stokes is the now former captain of the English Test cricket team, which is, it goes Queen or King, Prime Minister, then the captain of the soccer team, and then the captain of the English Test cricket team. Like those are the four big roles, and I think a lot of people would actually put the captains of the soccer and the men's Test cricket team above the Prime Minister, especially with what's going on over there.
Right. So if you've been watching the World Cup, this guy is either on par with or one step below Harry Kane, basically.
Right. Exactly. Yes. Exactly. Yeah. And he is also a kind of a different kind of character. He's a cat of a different color compared to most English Test cricket captains. He's got tattoos. He's got this like fiery red hair. He's incredibly talented. He's not brash in terms of like in your face, arrogance. But he is he plays a very loud game, but he always has the moments to meet it. So he's rock and roll, essentially. Like he's a little bit heavy metal and all that. And so the fact that he was named as the captain is a little different. He's been plagued by injuries and stuff. But he comes from the north of England too, which is important. I actually think he was born in New Zealand, then grew up in England, but he's from the north. He's got a very thick northern accent, and So he's like kind of an answer to the England has like a north-south kind of divide rivalry to it. Whereas south is London and the heartbeat, and then the north is the industrial north. So this guy's from there, so a little rough around the edges. But he's really good. He had some historic moments. There was one at Edgbaston, which is
Okay.
a cricket ground up in the known for its very loud, I don't want to say obnoxious, but a hostile crowd.
Okay.
And he had in 2019 in the Ashes had one of the all-time great performances to win England, and he basically hit the equivalent of a walk-off home run. And as he hits it, like he doesn't bat flip, but he hits it, and then he like just hands up in the air. It's a very iconic image of him. So that's who he is. He's not Sidney Crosby. Let's put it that way, right? He's not like the entire country doesn't fall at him. He hasn't always done things the right way. He's also not like Connor McDavid or Nathan McKinnon, where it's all I care about is winning and hockey. He colors much more outside the line than that.
I feel like he's more of like maybe a Joe Thornton.
He's
type,
like Joe Thornton
but with
type.
championships. Like he's actually won stuff.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I was gonna say he's more of like a throwback kind of guy, like a almost like a 70s Yankees style, kind of character, like a Reggie Jackson type,
right?
One of those kind of guys. He's not. Because he's got all the accolades, the talents, and everything, but he's also got this rougher side to him, but. He's never. It's not that he's a bad guy at all. I don't want to make it seem like that at all. He's not.
Right.
But he's certainly got the even saying party boy image. He's got the party boy image. I think people think that about him.
Right.
But it's not like that to the extent of a lot of those 70s Yankees. So
I was wondering if he's almost like an Allen Iverson who actually enjoys practice.
I was gonna say that's a good one. Allen Iverson is a good one, actually. That's a really good one.
Okay.
He's got I think that's a good one. And he's a sensational player,
right.
and he's also just a sensational character, and his like game plus his personality kind of meet one another, and he's a bit of a figure of like he's almost like the media treats him almost as if he's an exotic species in a way. Like it's
because he's different.
Like and the way they talk about him, it's like David Attenborough when he sees this killer whale or something, and he's just and they try to make sense of what he's doing. They're like, I don't know what this what this act is that he's doing, but we some people think it's performative, some people think it's just who he is, all this stuff. Anyway, but that's him, and he rises through the ranks. He becomes Test cricket captain, and he's also the face of the I think we talked about the Baseball revolution, which is a for a quick refresher on that, or if you're new, welcome to our 5th or 6th cricket episode, 7th, I don't know. But Baseball was essentially they tried to revolutionize Test cricket by being aggressive batting, basically try to score and score and score rather than just outlast the opponents. And he was like the front man for that with their manager Brandon McCullum, who we'll get to again later. But so he also became like the poster child of this new way to play cricket, Ben Stokes. And all of this is going on, and there's all this talk about him, and I think the English media in both soccer and cricket is very similar to the Toronto Maple Leafs in a way, where it's just they're getting hit from every angle. They got people dissecting everything they do on and off the pitch, and the whole country talks about it, and radio shows, etc., everything. And so he's dealing with all this as well. And there are, of course, the purists who don't like baseball. They don't really like his fiery persona, and as well, like the hockey, the Jim Matheson types, right? Like there's
the
folks
cricket
like
men,
that.
the 200 cricket
Yeah,
men.
yeah, the cricket men are coming after him. So he's dealing with all of this, and it's a he's had a decent run of captaincy. I think he was named in 2022, so 4 years that it ends up being, and it blew up in epic proportion at the end of it, which I think made a lot of the folks who were wondering if this was a good idea from the beginning kind of do a little, like, they grabbed their lapels and tightened up their tie basically and be like, well, I was right. So a lot.
Yeah, it should be noted though, before we move on to the actual scandal, this guy has won. Like, I just want to make that clear. Like, they have won Ashes tournaments, and they've won tons of games and tournaments and stuff. And like, there's quite a bit of hardware in this man's trophy case. So when you say like we can compare them to the Leafs in terms of coverage, this is if they had like actually won something. So like, it's not like this guy is just some big time personality that's never actually done anything. Like, this guy is almost the entire package. Like, he's got the personality, the talent, and the hardware to back it all up. So I mean, this guy is quite a figure in cricket.
He's not as prolific as Ovechkin, but he's almost like that in a lot of ways. Like, he's a bit of an enigma.
Yeah. You can't take anything away from him, basically.
Right. Exactly. Yes. Right. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So, and that's a really important kind of part that you can't really overstate of this entire story, which is that, like, this guy is really good,
right?
And by all accounts, his teammates and coaches have always liked him. He's like decent enough with I don't know about the media as much, just because of the way they treat people, but you don't hear too many bad things about this guy, except for he likes a proper beer with his mates.
Well, it's a perfect segue, because a proper beer with the boys is what starts our entire scandal here that has rocked the world of cricket and actually very much changed the career trajectory, in a way, of Ben Stokes. So basically, England wins a victory. Now, I'm reading this from cricketnews.com because it's the timeline of the Ben Stokes nightclub incident. What is it? Yeah. What really happened in the Ben Stokes nightclub incident? Timeline of England captain's potentially career-ending controversy. We'll get to that all in a minute. This is from June 27th. So it's about a little bit more than a month ago, a little bit less than a month ago. So England beats New Zealand in a test match, 115-run triumph. Sure sounds like a lot. And they gather up to celebrate, and they're talking to the press. And Stokes indicates that he is looking forward to enjoying, quote, a proper beer with the boys after completing his media duties, which every athlete, every captain of every team on every country in the planet has to do. So they hang out for a little while. The celebration continues inside the dressing room, and they eventually head out to a bar to continue the celebration. But we're going to pause right there, because there's another player in this, not just Ben Stokes in the English cricket team, but another team, a team that has immediately become one of my favorite international teams, even though I have never seen them play one game and knew nothing about them until probably an hour ago. This is not a cricket team. It's a rugby team called the Saracens, who play in the north of England. They do play they are a premiership rugby team. They play in England. They used to play in the same stadium as Watford. Then they moved to a new stadium, apparently. My wife was like, why are you learning all this? Why? I'm like, because Mike and I are talking about this cricket thing later. So the Saracens are named after Saladin's army, from the 12th century. They used to have rivals called the Crusaders, so I guess kind of made sense. So I'm already all in on these guys. They have black and red kits. They look like the flag of Tunisia. It's really cool. But so they won their final match of the season. They go out to a bar, and who do they run into at said bar called the White Horse? The English cricket team. And this is where the problems start, right? Like, these two teams get together. Now, they're all celebrating the ends of their respective seasons with victories, I guess. But, you get two teams in the same bar enjoying a proper beer with the boys, maybe one too many, and some weird shit goes down. And it gets pretty squirrely after this.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And So yeah, England beats New Zealand. They kind of end a long losing streak, and it's also very important to note that when England got absolutely smashed in the Ashes
Oh
in
yeah,
the
I forgot to
winter
mention that.
in
Yeah.
Australia, there were a lot of rumors about them partying too much in between
Right.
series, because you get like, you'll have like at least 4 or 5 days off, and you're in Australia. It's the summer down there, and
We talked about this in
yeah,
our Ashes episode with
right.
Gavin, where they were like on a beach in between
Yep.
games, and it was
Noosa.
a whole
Yep.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, the beach has become famous in England. It's called Noosa, and like it's like now a meme, where they went and just partied in a beautiful part of the world, and then we're just terrible. And I want to say, I can't remember which player it was. Zach Crawley, I think, was the one. Got into like a bar fight down there as well. So like it was a thing. Like this team has a bit of a thing with drinking and having too many proper beers with the boys. I guess it wasn't Zach Crawley. I can't remember who it was, but somebody got into it. I believe down there, and they imposed a curfew. The team got together and said, we're from now on, English cricket players during a test series have a 12 a.m. curfew. You're not allowed to be out. And this was a Ben Stokes rule. Like, he made the rule, but it was probably like, hey, this is going to be the rule. We want you to put your name on it, to make sure that we don't get in any more trouble. And he broke it by going out for the proper beer with the boys. But obviously the idea wasn't to go down there and to go get into a fight with a bunch of rugby players. And they just wanted to go, as you said, have a proper beer, celebrate the win. They had a couple of days off before their next test match with New Zealand. And instead, Saracens player threw a remark out, and it ended up with a fight, basically. And so they're breaking the curfew. They're getting into a fight. And it's also with, as you said, with Saracens. What's funny is there's another rugby team in that same league called Harlequins.
Oh.
So you'd have a tough one. I don't know if Harley Quinn is high up on your list of superhero people that you like, but it's hard. It's hard to go against Saracens with your name is Saraceni. So but anyways, so they get into a fight at a drinking session at a West London pub. I think it was called the Rex Rooms or something. I don't know, but it gets out there really quickly, and this is in the middle of. It would be like if to use the Leafs analogy again. When the Leafs season was spiraling out of control last year, I think when they fired like Mark Savard, let's say, right?
Yeah.
If William Nylander and Austin Matthews were out and got into a bar fight,
right?
It just immediately blew up. And
well, if they got into a bar fight with like the Raptors,
right? Exactly. Yeah, I was gonna say like
the Argonauts, like
right. Yeah, the Argonauts. Yeah, the Argonauts are there, and they get into a fight with them, and and it got out real quick.
Right.
And
I
I subscribe to a cricket newsletter that's based out of Australia, and like my inbox had like 6 different stories on this right away. And it's just 2 guys who write that newsletter, so it happened so quick.
We should state that also that like it's not like this is like a West Side Story Sharks and Jets situation. In fact, according to the story here again on Cricket News, England Rugby International Jamie George later disclosed that Stokes had messaged him asking whether the Saracen squad was nearby, prompting the 2 groups to meet up. So like they had texted, they hung out, they hung out at this bar, the White Horse, until 11 p.m. Then they got, they kind of broke up, and then they went to another bar. And this was where the problem started. Because again, they've instituted a curfew. Ben Stokes is one of the leading guys in favor of this curfew. He breaks the curfew, and Brendan McCullum, the coach, is the other guy who put the curfew in place. And he's going to be involved in this a little bit later. So that's around 11. They meet up at another bar, this time at a nightclub. Let's see if I can find. Yeah, Rex Rooms nightclub in Chelsea. So somebody alert Elvis Costello that they were battling in Chelsea here. So it's 1 a.m. and the Saracens player, excuse me, a Saracens academy player. So he's like a 22, 23-year-old kid. It's not really a full player here, named Totoa Avua. Allegedly took a swing at a guy in the bar. There was a disagreement, and instead of hitting this player, Atkinson, what's his first?
Gus Atkinson.
Atkinson. So instead of hitting Gus Atkinson, this kid takes a swing at him, hits a security guard who required stitches. This is not good. So he was left, and then there was a second confrontation later. There was left shaken. So this was a whole big scuffle, mainly due to this 22-year-old kid, Totoa Avua, who's one of the Saracens academy players, gets into it with Gus Atkinson. And Stokes didn't see any of this. He didn't witness this. He wasn't involved. And yet somehow this is all going to end very poorly for Ben Stokes. So that's the incident here. Bar fight or a nightclub fight between guys from the rugby team and guys from the cricket team. And this is just the beginning of what will be probably the worst month of Ben Stokes' life, if I'm assuming correct.
Yeah, exactly. And this is now like I at least the second like bar altercation that they've had in less than a calendar year, but this has been a thing with this English cricket generation for some time. So it all boils over. Immediately there's calls for Ben Stokes to stand down. You got to stand down as captain and be suspended and all this kind of stuff. As like once again, I think that Austin Matthews, Toronto Argonauts Academy players is a good way to kind of make sense of it, and how you can imagine Steve Simmons, right?
Oh my God.
Being ripping the C off of his chest.
Damien Cox coming out of retirement. Yeah. Tear them a new one.
Right. So that's kind of what happens. But there were also people who, because there's always two sides to a story, and as you said, like they were meeting up allegedly, there's video of like Ben Stokes dancing in the club at the time, just like having a good time. Not there's nothing that looks too out of line from him in like the short videos that you see, that surface. But the rumor is, or at least the side of the story from the English cricket side or the Stokes defenders, is that he was standing up for one of his teammates. I guess somebody said something inappropriate, and that's what set everybody off. And Stokes really had no choice. And this is like another thing that seems to happen with him quite a bit, which is, he wasn't. He was just there, and the fight started happening, and he had to jump in and defend the honor of his teammates, and kind of stuff. So there's a camp out there that are like, well, he actually was kind of in the right, like he was defending one of his teammates, one of his friends, and it just looks bad because of all the other stuff. And then there's also but if this stuff keeps happening, no matter how many times, as I think we used this analogy the other day, like the Elmore Leonard thing, which is, if you're kind of surrounded by this stuff, you're surrounded by assholes, and like, who's the asshole? So if you keep getting into these fights, even if you're trying to do the right thing, you're probably in the wrong at some point. So anyways, there's all this discourse about whether or not this is a huge deal or if it's just not a huge deal. But it ends up becoming a huge deal because he does get stripped of his captaincy basically and suspended. He becomes like a huge talking point. He basically retreats north to England to his county club, because while this test series is going on, it'd almost be like in the old days when the World Cup was going on, MLS would still be playing. Because they'd just be like, the rest of you guys keep playing. And so in England, the county cricket championships go all summer, and so Stokes's county team, which is Durham, was playing, and he just played for them, right? And like tried to get away from the noise and just play cricket. But he was, as we said, like stripped, suspended, and everybody wondered if this moment was actually going to be the end of his cricket career. It ended up not being. That wasn't correct, but it also wasn't wrong. But yeah, he kind of just fades to the background and lets the media like fill the void, which I think was a bit of a mistake because they took the story and ran with it.
But so he did not retire? Am I misreading
Well,
this?
so here's what happens.
Okay.
He
'Cause that's not the end of the story.
no.
You can get great clothes with free shipping by going to quince.com/islanders. I have clothes from Quince. My wife has bought clothes from Quince. My brothers-in-law, who are both much more stylish and professional than I am, have been buying from Quince for years. Whether you're keeping it casual, whether you're dressing up, whether you're going to the gym or the office or on vacation, Quince has exactly what you're looking for. Their clothes are very sharp looking, very comfortable, very durable, ethically sourced, and they are all very reasonably priced. In fact, a lot of their clothes are cheaper than most stores because they get their clothes directly from the factory. So upgrade your everyday. Download the Quince app for app-exclusive offers, or go to quince.com/islanders, where you get free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada and in the UK too. That's Quince, QUINCE.com/islanders.
This episode is brought to you by Google Chrome. You think you know a browser, but Gemini and Chrome? That's new. It can help you with practically anything on the web, like restoring a vintage motorcycle from a 50-page restoration blog, or finally break down that long article you've had open for weeks. Gemini and Chrome is here for it. Ready to make anything online make sense? There's no place like Chrome. Check responses, setup required, compatibility and availability varies, 18+.
The perfect lunch combo. That first bite of your favorite sub, followed by ice-cold Pepsi. Add a couple of friends, and now that's next level. Suddenly, the laughs get louder, the stories keep flowing, and the food tastes better. Because Pepsi brings out more flavor, more fun, and more of the moment. Food deserves Pepsi. Grab a Pepsi Zero Sugar today.
Hello?
Look what TJ Maxx dragged in.
The Devil Wears Prada 2 is now streaming on Disney Plus and Hulu.
We are digital, we are downloadable, we are streamable.
The fashion event of the year is certified fresh.
Pull yourself together. We have work to do.
Critics say it's smart and witty and the perfect sequel.
That's all.
Get runway ready for The Devil Wears Prada 2 on Disney Plus and Hulu. Rated PG-13.
Stream the biggest moments in sports live on Fox One. The biggest names, the biggest games, the biggest matchups. Watch live or catch up on your schedule. At home or on the go, never miss a moment. All on Fox One. Stream now.
They decide that he can't be captain. So what do? They get the captain who he replaced, Joe Root, who is the quintessential like poster child for an English Test cricket captain. He's really good player, of course. His name is Joe Root as well. So like he's just like it sounds like a English guy. He looks the part, he acts the part, he plays the part. He's like where Stokes is an aggressive hitter and will be on, likes to be on the front foot and put the bowler under pressure. Root is much more of a I'll bat all day. Like I might not score for 45 minutes. I'll just sit up here and defend and defend and defend. Almost like a batter that's happy to foul off pitches. Like remember Juan Pierre, that old leadoff hitter for the Marlins, kind of someone like that. Like a real grinder type. And so Root was brought back to be the captain for the second test. And as I said, Ben Stokes is just in Durham playing his little county cricket games, and the entire they play another test match against New Zealand. In a crazy twist of fate, while that's going on, New Zealand has a captain named Kane Williamson, who's like one of the best players to ever come from New Zealand. He's great. Everybody loves Kane Williamson in cricket. He decides that he's going to retire at the same time, so he steps away like a very after the first test. He just retires. He's just like, you know what, I'm done. I'm just not at the same level anymore. And
That's pretty
very
funny.
the very Kane Williamson method, just like steps away. Stokes is gone out of the picture for now. Root comes in. England gets I can't remember how much they lost by, but I believe they got battered pretty bad in that second in the second test. And everybody thinks, well, this is sort of leaving the door open for Stokes to come back. But it's also will he even want to? He's had injury issues. He's always talked about mental health and just being worn down by being the face of English cricket and dealing with the media and just the entire responsibility that comes with it. Because cricket, more than any sport, hockey is not too far off with the way you're supposed to carry yourself a certain way. There's the code and all that.
Yeah.
So just like all that wearing down on you and kind of
Hmm.
keeping your personality in a box for a long time. And
Any sport where the captain is even like a known player carries a lot of weight with it.
Yeah.
Like it always cracks me up that like, well, the Derek Jeter just got named the Yankee captain. Okay, what other baseball team has a captain? Like none. Oh, none of them. Like, okay, so who cares? Like every hockey team's captain is obviously a big deal. That's always like who's handing it off and that kind of thing. I mean, every once in a while there's a basketball team with a captain, but it's pretty. I remember when Chris Mullin was the captain of the Golden State Warriors. This is in the very very pre Steph Curry years or whatever. So like, and football teams have captains now, but that's also a fairly recent thing. And you look around and there's like 12 guys with captains. They got like stars and some are gold and some are white. And it's a little bit weird, but like it's all very like, seems a little bit like kind of Johnny come lately. Whereas hockey in particular, and I guess cricket are the ones where it's sort of like the prime sports where the captain is an important figure. And like, it really means something.
It's very important on the field too in cricket because like you're setting up the field. So like you're like almost like shifting in baseball, right? Like you're being like, you got to go over here. We're gonna bring the field in. We're gonna take this You're the coach on the field, too. So it's stressful and I think a really important image to just drive home how the pageantry that comes with it is if you're the captain of the cricket team, you wear a blazer out onto the field to do the coin toss. Right? So like that's what it is. There's so much dressage involved. And
not enough blazers anymore. I want every broadcast crew to wear the blazer. I know, with like the
it's a great
patch
point.
on.
You know what? I could see the Islanders being like, we're bringing that back.
They should.
Yeah.
I think it's something nice about it. Anyway,
and people, they'll be like, oh, that's so great, so classy, and then the Islanders will just make sure that every piece of media they do every piece of media on it that they can. But so anyway, so he's now kind of steps out while this is going on too. So like I said, Kane Williamson retires. Then a player from Saracens who was an English played for the English team, like the national rugby team, comes out and says that the youngster who got into this brawl was in the wrong. So now like there's people being like, well, are we really going to ruin and tarnish Ben Stokes' legacy? Huge fan favorite, as I keep saying, like maybe not the media darling, but people in England love this guy. They see a lot of like themselves in him. He's not perfect. He's a little rough around the edges. He's a guy who likes a proper beer with the boys. I think he's always G'ing up the crowd. He loves playing in like the cauldron atmospheres and loves the hostile bit of he's got that like a Kyle Clutterbuck type, like one of the guys, someone who just like really he rises in these when the heat gets turned up, like that's the type of atmosphere he wants to be in. He's not a shrinking violet at all. So I think fans really love him, and they're like, we're really going to ruin this legacy over this guy like standing up for his mates. And then the pushback being like, well, keeps happening. It's a problem. The team also isn't doing well right now. People are sick of baseball and the arrogance. It's almost like the analytics revolution in hockey in a way. Like, yeah, okay, we get it. Like, you should shut up about it and play. Like, people just want to stop hearing about it. It feels very, very, uppity in a way. And then they get battered. Of course, they get battered by Australia a couple of Ashes in a row. And, or I should say, those all five in the previous Ashes, they just get absolutely battered. So baseball is on life support anyways, and they're being stubborn about it. They're not changing their tactics at all. So there's all that as well. So like there's this funny kind of fight, and then what happens? Ben Stokes returns, plays his county cricket. He comes back to be the captain. They say, "Yep, you can be the captain for the third test." And against New Zealand, it's not. I think the decision is kind of met by a, I wouldn't say it's a I don't think people are like mad. I think people are like, he served his
Right.
punishment. He's getting dragged. He got dragged, whatever. And they, whatever. He can come back and win us back by winning and playing well. And so they have a third test against New Zealand coming up, and that was at Trent Bridge, which is in the not where he's from in the north, but it's in the north. It's in Nottingham. And he, that everyone just thinks, okay, like he's back. That'll be that. This is I believe their last test match of the summer too. So maybe it'll get quiet around him.
Yeah.
But that's not what happens. He, in the middle of this test series, tells his teammates, "I'm done. I'm retiring."
What? Okay, so I spoiled it a little while ago.
No, but it's that's what it's hilarious because he ends up he does retire, but he comes back and then plays like essentially one day, and then it's like, I'm out. And if the people were jumping to get their hands on the keyboards after the bar fight, this was a pretty big shock because I don't think anyone saw this coming in the middle of a series. I think people thought this will be he'll probably step down as captain, but he's not in like the prime of his career. Like he's had some injury issues, but he's still almost like we saw with Messi at the World Cup, right? Or Luka Modric, those kind of folks. Like, yeah, there's still a lot. He still has something to give, even if he's past his prime. And he's also such a character that he's going to leave a hole in this entire tapestry because there's nobody like him. There just wasn't. He was very unconventional. Once in a while, these characters come along in cricket, like that are brasher and not the, they smoke cigarettes and proper beers, those kind of types, and not just the kind of country club cricket guys you'd think of. But they're rare, much more rare compared to the other ones. And he gives like this funny speech, and he tries to go out in a blaze of glory, like just like try to swat balls into the stands, and it just doesn't really happen. It gets like awkward. They clap him off the field, both teams, and yeah, that's really it. Like he's gone. Like this guy who was part of the, not just the English team, but like part of just the cricket universe, one of the biggest characters in all of the entire sport. Essentially, he gets chased out of the sport because of a bar fight. Once again, think of if Nathan McKinnon got into a fight, or Austin Matthews, Alex Ovechkin, before they won the Stanley Cup, like 11 years ago, got into a big fight in Washington, and there was all that talk about him because it was always him and Crosby, and people just didn't seem to like Ovechkin because he's Russian and Crosby's Canadian, all that. And he gets into a bar fight. He's like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to Russia, and that's it. And he's just gone. And people are like, well, now I kind of miss him, right? Like, and that's what's going on now. Everyone's like, oh boy, I'm gonna miss this guy now.
Yeah. It seems as if this thing happens, and like, I mean, how old is he? I don't know if we saw. Oh, he's 35. Is that old for like a cricket?
Yeah. No, he probably had we'll put it this way. The next Ashes would be a year from now.
Oh, okay. So
he would have been there for that.
Right.
And but that might have been his last one.
Right. And who knows if he's like a part-time player at that point, or whatever.
Right.
So it sounds like, he's maybe mulling his future already. This thing happens that sucks him into it. It doesn't, like, at first it doesn't look great. Like, okay, so you break your own curfew. You're there when a bunch of dudes get into a fight. You break it up. Yeah, but like, had everybody just gone home when they were supposed to, this wouldn't have happened, but it did. And you're the captain. You're the guy who shoulders all of this responsibility.
Right.
We're going to take that away from you because, we can't have this sort of like improper, activity or whatever happening. They make another guy, the guy he replaced the captain. And I think he's got to be thinking, well, like, what am I what am I in this for? Like he's got to be thinking, well, what am I supposed to, this isn't how I want to go out, but at the same time, like, am I going to work my way back, and for what? Yeah, like you said, I mean, am I going to be a part-time player? I mean, who knows what his health is like? Maybe he's like incredibly injured or something like that. And so he's got to be like, I don't want to do this anymore. Somebody must have coaxed him out and been like, listen, because it sounds like the once more information came out, the public and maybe his, the people at the English and Wales cricket board were like, which is the official body, by the way. I found that out today too. We're probably like, okay, listen, maybe we were a little hasty. We didn't need to go all the way. It looked bad at the time, but now it seems like, maybe you were there doing the right thing, or maybe it wasn't as bad as we thought. Why don't you come back? And then he comes back and he thinks to himself, well, like, what am I going to do? Like, what am I going to do? I can do this for another year. Like you said, the Ashes are next year. He's going to be 36. Like, right. It feels almost like he felt like, you know what? Screw this. Like, I've won enough. I've done enough. I don't need to keep going here. He gets his one goodbye. And if you're an Islanders fan listening to this, you may remember, Bob Nystrom's 900th game and final game with the Islanders. He was pretty beat up. He had eye issues. And so he came out, he took one shift, and then he went off the ice, and that was it, And so I think he just thought, listen, what am I fighting here for? I mean, it was like 1987 or whatever it was, like I won 4 cups. What am I fighting here for? So like, they want to get to a certain spot, and maybe he just felt like, I might as well just walk away. But at the same time, it's also like, I mean, I didn't know this guy an hour or two ago, and even I'm dissatisfied with how this guy is going to retire. Like, really, this is the last time we're going to hear from this guy. He gets suspended after a nightclub fight. He comes back. He plays a game. It's not, some sort of triumphant hero's farewell. Yeah. And now he just retires? Like, that's it? What?
Yeah, when it's actually nuts that, like, so imagine being a media person or a fan going to that match. You have no idea. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, he's going to retire. This is this is it. And yeah, he essentially turns that. It was 1-1 in the series. They'd won the first one, lost the second one without him. And they hadn't won a series in a while. And everyone, all of a sudden, it didn't matter if they were going to win or lose and beat New Zealand. All that mattered was, okay, well, what's this nut job going to do? And he comes on immediately to bowl. He bowls and bats. He's an all-rounder. And he's good at both. He's very good at both. That's another important thing to note. Immediately gets somebody out, takes a wicket, and everyone's like, holy shit, like, he's gonna do this. And then he doesn't he doesn't bat, quote unquote, bat lead off. He doesn't open. But he decided that for his last game, he's got, because the captain basically makes the lineup, he decides, I'm gonna hit lead off, and just immediately first ball just runs at it and tries to smoke it. Then he tries to do a reverse sweep, which is, I mean, it is what it sounds like. You take the bat and you try to hit the ball as it's behind you, and he ends up not doing much, but then goes off, right? Like I said, and he left people feel like that was, kind of awkward, very, very testimonial match, very exhibition, charity, like Soccer Aid charity match kind of performance from a guy, almost like the celebrity game or an all-star game, right, and like this is like a huge fan favorite again. So like it made it really awkward for them to watch. But I think I said Edgebaston before, but it was Headingley. Like, this is the guy who like gave them one of their best moments watching this team in the last 10 years at Headingley. They also won as you said, a T20 World Cup, and they won I think they won the 2019 World Cup with him as well, like him as a star. And he goes out in just such an awkward way. I think, as you said, it was so dissatisfying for everybody, except for me, because I'm like, this is exactly what cricket to me is all about. It's all about these insane, puffing your chest out, trying to win like the political battle more than, or you always say, like, who can follow the rules better, who can be
the lawsuit on grass.
Yes, the lawsuit on grass, right? And this is, to me, this is so cricket, because these guys are they're all flawed. The sport is so flawed and silly that it makes sense that something so silly happens with a guy like this. And
right.
and a couple weeks later, the guy who brought the baseball revolution to Test cricket, Brandon McCullum, he's fired.
Oh,
and
right, yeah.
So he's now out of the picture, and one of the favorites to take over England, just to show you how in disarray they are with all of this, is this guy Justin Langer, who is an Australian, one of the best Australian batsmen ever, and he's also he was the manager of the Australian Test cricket team. He was there for the 2019. He was managing them for 2019 against England in Headingley. So he was there for like 3 or 4 years. Kind of brought the program back after Australia was caught cheating with the Sandpaper Gate. And but he is, I want to say, like enemy number one for English cricket people. But they despise this guy. I was
gonna say, wait a moment. How is it? I mean, what is his, one of his parents English? I guess.
No, you're allowed to. Like they could. You know.
Wow.
Yeah. Brandon McCullum,
wow.
The basketball guy, is from New Zealand, so you can. Yeah, you can. It's not totally out of the it is out of the ordinary to have an Australian manage the English cricket team, but it's not like against the rules or anything.
Right.
And let's put it this way: it's not against the rules, but it's not cricket.
Right.
But also this particular Australian is despised by English. It'd be like,
this is like when Brian Trottier coached the Rangers.
Right. Yeah. But he and it's not, it's Trottier, or it'd be like if, God, who would be a good example? It'd be Max Talbot type. Like he's a little bit better than Max Talbot, but like that kind of under your skin kind of guy.
Right.
More than
yeah, like a good
player. Yeah, like Ryan Malone, an England killer. And so yeah, imagine that. And I just was like, wow, that would suck. I feel for our guy Gavin, because I'm having a hard enough time with Pascal Dupuis being the
right. Yeah, this is 100 times worse
right?
than that.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Like,
so
we didn't hate Patrick Waugh. It was weird having him coach. There was no Islander fan really hated him.
Exactly. Yeah. And yeah. So yeah, English cricket is in this amazing implosion going on right now, and it could get worse. And it's all started because this guy got into a brawl in a bar.
It doesn't
with
even
a rugby
like,
team.
Doesn't even sound like a brawl. It just sounds like one drunk young idiot.
Right, exactly.
Took a swing at another guy and hit a. It's. I mean,
and it ends up hitting a security guard.
Which is almost like, was this like a sitcom? Like, that's like something out of like, whatever, Seinfeld or whatever. But and yet somehow it ends with this long time, very decorated, very beloved English cricketer stripped of a captaincy. Comes, looks like his career is over. Comes back. Plays a very disappointing match, then just decides I'm going to retire, and leaves. And now they're possibly going to hire like a hated guy. The coach gets fired too. Sorry, I forgot. The manager gets fired, and now it looks like they're going to hire a new manager to replace him, who's a hated figure amongst the fan base. So
exactly,
and which the fan base is like the entire country. So like this is all
right.
This is a real mess. Oh my god, this is kind of nuts, and it's pretty much all the Saracens' fault. No, I'm just kidding.
right. Well, yeah. I mean, it's really not. It's not kinda, too far off. Yeah,
right.
That's what's so great about it, and people, England the Test cricket team is just despised by India and West Indies fans and Australia fans and New Zealand fans, so everyone's just lapping. Once again,
this is a
very Maple Leafy, where if this was going on with the Leafs and all of a sudden Patrick Waugh was their coach, they were like, who's got to fix this? Almost happened this summer, right?
Yeah,
who's going to fix this? Patrick Waugh.
I mean, it's obviously not the same thing, but we all had a real good laugh at the whole Mitch Marner.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
For the same reason, basically.
Yeah, Marner's like a good example of it, like a guy who just was dealing with so much off the field with the media. And you could see it like wearing on him. Stokes is the same way, and they both kind of retreat, and it's just I mean, it's such a fun thing to think about that these guys go out, they know they're breaking curfew, so they are making that decision, but they don't realize going into the Rex rooms that they're going to get into a little skirmish, and that skirmish is going to lead to the entire program just basically blowing up.
So let me ask you this. So this has been very entertaining, very illuminating. Now you all know what the deal is. We'll get into Sandpaper Gate at another episode, I'm sure.
Yeah.
About 6 months from now, we'll talk about that in our next cricket episode, because it does sound like a lot of fun. Because the cricket ball, I could already see. Wait a minute, yeah, the sandpaper, I could see having a real effect on that kind of ball. But let me ask you this. So this has been great. I'm glad we could talk about this. This is wild. I'm going to put some links there if you want to read more about this whole thing. And I'm sure that there's plenty, like Mike said, there's plenty of coverage of this elsewhere from various different sites. But here's the thing. So I'm on the English and Wales Cricket Board's website and look up their schedule. So the next match for the English men's Test cricket team is on August 19th against Pakistan, which is in Leeds, in England. What are the odds that Ben Stokes, now this is August 19th, so we're talking about a month from now. What are the odds that Ben Stokes plays in that game or in that match against Pakistan's men's team?
Not zero.
I don't know. I
not
feel like
zero. Yeah,
it's
no, it's not
happen.
zero. I don't think you're wrong. Like, I don't think you're. I think a lot of people have that. At least there's a you'll be able to see it on the site better than me. So there's a 150th anniversary match coming up of the Melbourne Cricket Ground, the MCG, which is the biggest, the most famous cricket ground in Australia, one of the cathedrals of the sport. And I think that's in March of March 2027.
There's some in November.
Yeah,
Melbourne Cricket Ground.
I gotta figure out when it is.
Okay.
MCG anniversary test, but that's coming. It's not like it's from March 11th to the 15th of 2027. So this isn't the Ashes. This is like a one-off match between England and cricket, England and Australia to celebrate the first match ever between the two countries, which was in 1877. So it'll be it won't be part of the Ashes, but it's going to be a thing. I have a really hard time believing that he won't be in that that team. Like that's what I'll say. Like, he'll have some time off, and there'll be a little bit of lead up to it. And so while the Pakistan test is I would say, yeah, it's definitely not zero. Like he's that's the type of guy he is. And I want to say he's retired and unretired already, or was like hurt for a long time, and they were like, oh, he's that I have a feeling that one will be too hard for him to pass up that moment.
Yeah.
Especially if Justin Langer is managing them, because he'd be the type of guy who's like, I'll get Stokesy. He if you watch the series on Amazon called The Test, the first season of that is right after Sandpaper Gate, and Justin Langer is he becomes the manager. He's kind of like the main character of the whole thing, and he seems like a real God. He's like his slogan was elite mateship. That's what he wanted the team to have, elite mateship. I don't know what that means, but you can see how cringy that can come across, and he felt like that.
He sounds like the cricket version of Sean Payton. Like, the bounty gate guy, we're all in this together. We're a gang. Are we though? I don't know. And I mean, okay. So they're playing Pakistan in August and September. They have this.
Is that one in England or is that in Pakistan?
It's in England.
You said Leeds, right?
Leeds,
okay.
Right. But there are other matches in Australia, again, in November, and obviously there's a ton of matches coming up. So, like, it is possible, because I do feel like athletes, regardless of the sport, regardless of the country, regardless of their comportment, their type of person, they don't want to go out like that. They never want to just kind of leave. Like, even Gretzky, if you remember his retirement, we all kind of suspected it, because the Rangers weren't very good. He had basically stopped scoring goals. I think he had 9 goals that last year, but because he had like 50 some odd assists, because he was still that good. And he didn't want to make a big deal about it. And so, like, he announced his retirement with, like, what was it, 6 games to go or whatever. And, like, all of a sudden the game in Ottawa became a huge deal because it was his final game in Canada. And so, like, even though it was a bad season and he wasn't really, having a great season, they still made a thing about it. And, like, he was still able to, like, wave goodbye to everybody and say, like, even with Ovechkin, like, oh, is he coming back? Is he coming? Of course he's coming back, because the Caps missed the playoffs. Like, he's just not just going to disappear into the
Right.
sunset. You know, it doesn't really work that way. Even if they miss the playoffs next year, at least he's going to be like coming back, and he'll make a big deal about it. I'm sure. Like when Crosby retires, trust me, we'll all know about it. So like these guys don't want to just. I mean, Aaron Rodgers refuses to retire. Like, just retire, please. Like Peyton Manning's retirement took a long time, but when he left, you know, I don't think the Broncos. I don't think he won. You know, he won with the Super Bowl with them. He went to another one, and then I think they were bad for a little while, and then he retired. So like. Even if the team is bad, they don't want to just go out like, you know, under the cover of darkness. They want to go out waving to everybody. And obviously Ben Stokes tried that in this very, you know, disappointing match. Nobody really seemed to bite on it, because even they probably think, brother, you're coming back. Like, what? You're not leaving like this. And so maybe he's hurt. Maybe he wants to go home to his family for a little while, and like retiring, rather than saying, listen, I'm stepping away for personal reasons. They're just going to have a bunch of people on his case all the time. Like, hey, when are you coming back? If he retires, then at least they can make it final for a little while. And then if he comes back, you know, okay, he's unretiring for this series or this, you know, tournament or this test, you know, run or whatever, that kind of thing. So I could see that happening too. It's easier to retire than it is to just go away for a while. And just be like, hey, I need a break. Like, well, they don't want to hear you need a break. But if you retire, okay, fine. But you know, even Michael Jordan in his last 2 years with the Wizards, you know, he didn't just disappear. Like, he still was like, it was still a big deal to watch Michael Jordan play right up until the very end, you know? So I don't think this guy wants to just go out like that, even though I didn't know who he was 2 hours ago.
You're probably right. And I think that the next manager the next head coach they pick is really important, because like like I said, it's Justin Langer who certainly would want to try to get him back. And the other name out there is a guy whose name his real name is Andrew Flintoff.
Oh, I've seen that name, yeah.
But everybody calls him Freddie because of Freddie Flintstone. So like you don't ever hear this guy referred to as Andrew. It's Freddie Flintoff. If you say Andrew Flintoff to somebody, I think they'll be like, wouldn't know who you're talking about. So and he had some off the field issues similarly too. So I do think that he could and he was a captain as well. So I think like he's someone who could sort of connect with Stokes in a way, and you wonder if Freddie Flintoff is hired, maybe it works. But I think if they go with somebody who's more like classic cricket kind of type, I don't think he'll be back. So yeah, it's and I should also note that Freddie Flintoff, he retired twice. So
again, these guys are all the same.
Right, yeah.
But let me ask you this now for a second question, and I'll leave you with this. What are the odds that English cricket's next coach is Ben Stokes?
Oh.
How about that? For a twist in the story.
Yeah, let's put it this way. I think he'll absolutely be in the running to be coaching. 15 years from now, maybe less than that. Yeah. Definitely. But not because when you're a captain, you're sort of already a coach. So like you kind of just become one later, and like he'll go coach Durham, at one point, and kind of go that way. But and also we should note, but while this is actually as we wrap up here, that the cricketing world actually lost one of the best players ever this week. If you saw the name Sir Garfield Sobers come across your ticker, he passed away. He was from Barbados, and had obviously an incredible name, Sir Garfield Sobers. I mean, come on,
that's a great name.
And he had an amazing story where he was he had 2 extra fingers, like one on each hand.
What?
And he cut them both off himself.
What?
When he was a boy. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. His mom was
doesn't sound very sobers to me. I guess.
Right. But he was raised by a single mom because his dad was killed in World War II, and just ends up becoming a one of the all-time greats, and at a time when cricket was essentially an all-white sport. This guy kind of came in and broke down a lot of barriers. So he just passed away this week too. I think he was 89, and
He was 89, and
Yep.
his Wikipedia says he is widely considered to be cricket's greatest ever all-rounder, and one of the greatest cricketers of all time.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Imagine how much
So-
great he would be if he had those 6th and
I
7th fingers
know,
on.
I know. Isn't that craziest? That's the
Yeah.
best part of it. There's, I remember reading about him a few years ago, like when I was really starting getting into it and reading about some of the greats, and I'm like, wow, I got to read about this guy Garfield Sobers, and I'm like, that's not even the tip of the iceberg. The name,
Wow.
it's this guy's cutting off his own fingers as a boy.
That makes him the Tony Iommi of cricket. If you know anything about heavy metal, Tony Iommi lost the tips of 2 fingers in a welding accident as a teenager, and it's what kind of led him to sort of detuning his guitar, using the heavier, looser strings and using certain chords. And the next thing you know, Black Sabbath creates heavy metal, and there you go. Thanks to Tony Iommi he had these little like plastic fingertips, look like little finger cots, like in his thing. So yeah, that's true. So heavy metal and cricket owe a great debt to 2 guys cutting fingers off at very important times. Maybe we'll get into him at some other point, because this sounds like a very interesting figure. Yeah, how about that? So rest in peace, Sir Garfield Sobers. And thank you very much, Ben Stokes, for all you've done for English cricket. We'll see what the future lies for him. And thank you, Michael Leboff, for explaining all this, because this has been a lot of fun. How long have you been waiting to get all this off your chest? Because I guarantee Emily does not care about anything.
Exactly. Yeah, it's been a long time. And as you could probably tell, and there's, the next saga. There's more to be written in the saga, which I can't wait for. And I think that a lot of people in England probably like put this stuff on the back burner during the World Cup and are like catching up on it now. So I do think it'll pop back up, and especially when the Test cricket team gets back on the field, and we'll see who their next manager is. And and like you said, Sandpaper Gate, we'll get there eventually, and because that is an amazing story.
Seems like every 6 months or so we do another cricket episode. So
yeah.
To see. But it is funny now that the World Cup is over. I obviously have a lot of Canadian friends thanks to hockey and stuff, and they're all like, I got to watch the fucking Jays now. Just realizing that they kind of suck. And I'm sure a lot of Mets fans are out there like, yeah, oh God, I don't want to do this. I'd rather bring back the soccer, please. But I guess there's a lot of cricket fans now. They're like, let's dive into back into this thing. Wait, what? What's going on now? So anyway, back to reality for everybody. But thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate it. We'll be back next month with a brand new Country Club atmosphere. Until then, take care, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.